welcome back to the Footy Fans. This is our second episode. Again, it's me, Liam and Benji, and we're going to be talking about the news and football in today's world. So, Benji, I think we need to start off with the Barca downfall.
Yes, I think one of the problems they got is that they're selling Neymar for the most expensive transfer ever. And then for half of that money goes for Griezmann, which isn't that good. But Griezmann was good in Atletico, so I know that they was thinking like this guy is going to be on Neymar, but the ones that scored the more goals, and Messi is going to be the one to give the passes to Grizzy. Grizzy scores and assists like Messi. What do you think about this?
Well, obviously, I think when they sold Neymar, it was a big hit because obviously it was MSN. So it was Neymar, Suarez, Messi, if nobody knows who that is. And they worked together. They were the best trio in the world at that point, and Barcelona were the best team in the world just because of them three. Obviously, they did have the Iniesta and the Xavi, of which they've lost now, so they don't really have the midfield maestros anymore as well. So I think losing Neymar was a big hit, but as much as they lost Neymar, it was also the midfield people that were running the show really that nobody really noticed. And so yeah, I think the downfall that they've had is quite bad because as much as they've brought people such as De Jong and Griezmann and Ousmane Dembele to try and replace it, they haven't really fulfilled the potential or the ability that Neymar, Iniesta and Xavi had.
Yeah, and then talking about the midfield, I think they play with Busquets, De Jong and Arthur. And Arthur and De Jong is good players, but ain't near the level right now that Xavi and Iniesta was. They were like another players. They pass it to Messi or Neymar, and they did the things, pass it to Suarez, and they score. Arthur and De Jong isn't like that type. They are good players, more than players right now. But Wolves, I think that the attack has been the most downfall. Piqué is still in the team, same with Jordi Alba and Ter Stegen. Then they got in Semedo and who plays the other? Lenglet, I think you do. Yeah. Then they play with a much better team that Piqué is a leader, Ter Stegen is a leader for me. Then the other centre back Lenglet is good, but I don't think he's the leader. They had always the two centre backs was the leader, and the tiki taka. This isn't tiki taka longer. Griezmann isn't that fast, but Arthur De Jong is quite that good at passing.
I mean, as well, to be fair, when you mentioned tiki taka, well, that wasn't just the team itself. It was Pep Guardiola who announced sort of introduced it to the team.
Yeah.
Obviously, Pep Guardiola now manages City, so they know Barcelona no longer have that manager that really knows football that well. They recently got Ronald Koeman, if I'm not much mistaken. He didn't do well with Everton as far as I'm concerned, so I don't see why he's going to do well with Barcelona. But then again, Pep Guardiola wasn't really a well-known manager at the time. Obviously, he played for Barcelona when he was a player, but he wasn't a well-known manager, and he did wonders for him. So whether he does the same, whether Ronald Koeman does the same as Pep did, or it's just the downfall continues, I don't know. But I think mostly the reason why the downfall happened was because Pep Guardiola left to go to Bayern Munich.
Yes, when they say with Ronald Koeman, they can hope he do like a Frank Lampard because he's a Koeman. He's having Barca in the heart. If he goes for that way, he's going to go and buy great players. I think he's linked with Wijnaldum and Memphis Depay. That are two good players, but
both Dutch as well.
Yeah, but if they spend so much money like they did on Griezmann, I don't think they're going to spend that much on Depay. I think 50, 60, if I ain't wrong. But Depay is very good.
Yeah, Depay is very good, but obviously he's done really well in the Champions League for Lyon, so he could be a bit like Lacazette and probably go for about, I'd say, 80 million, maybe even a bit more, because obviously in today's world, football's money is a bit stupid, so he can probably go for nearer 100 million. But yeah, sorry, carry on.
Yeah, and the thing with the money right now, as you said, is stupid. Think that for 20 years ago, you got Ronaldo Nazario, one of the best attackers that ever played, if not the best.
Yeah.
You get him for 20 million, and now you get Harry Maguire slabhead for 80 million.
Yeah, to be fair, he's not really going well at the moment as well, is he?
No, not in jail.
Nah. I mean, to be fair, when obviously everyone was having a go at Liverpool for signing Van Dijk for 75 million, but when stuff like that happens and Van Dijk performs as well as he did, you can't really have a go at him. But then when Man United sign Harry Maguire for 80 million, it is really a bit of a shock because Harry Maguire was good for Leicester. Obviously, again, he won the Premier League, but he's not worth 80 million, and it's just I think that's the stupidness really of the chairman in Man United, because I know Ed Woodward, I think his name isn't really the best in terms of business, but 80 million for Slabhead isn't the greatest, to be fair.
No, that's the same with Chilwell. They wanted I think 80 million too, but Chelsea got it down to around 50, 60 million, which is very good for Chelsea.
Yeah, that's a great sign, to be fair.
Yeah, but I think for Chelsea, when we talk about money, you can get Reguilon from Sevilla for around 25 million, and then same with Alex Telles. You can get him for 27. But then think about English players always like overpriced. It's the same with Declan Rice. I think West Ham wanted 60, 70 mil for him. And it's like Declan Rice is good, but I don't think you would want to pay like 65 mil to him, 10 mil lower than Virgil van Dijk.
I mean, as well, to be fair, with the Virgil van Dijk price, he was brought a couple of years ago. So again, every single year there's a difference in how money works in football. But in terms of Declan Rice, he's very young. He's about 20 or 21, or maybe even younger. I don't know. But he's quite he's always, like I said, he's young, so he's got potential on him. So if you want to sign Declan Rice and West Ham want the 60 or 70 million, you're going to have to take a punt on him and hope that he achieves his potential and gets to where he is. Because if he gets to where the hype's taking him, then he will be a fantastic signing. He'll be like the next Kante for Chelsea.
Yeah, but then you think the money they spend, if Chelsea buy him for 60 mil, can they get back the money in the future? Because he ain't going to stay in until he retire in Chelsea. He's from the academy, but they need to think: can we sell him for more than 60 mil? The same with Kepa. Kepa ain't going to sell for 80 mil right now. I think around 40 mil.
I mean, yeah, obviously, you don't know, to be fair, if Declan Rice will go to Chelsea in the first place, but if he goes to Chelsea, he could stay there until he retires, because the club legends are a thing. Obviously, Steven Gerrard could have gone to Chelsea midway through his Liverpool career, but it depends on if Declan Rice achieves his potential, he'll be a very good player. So it'll be if Chelsea want to make a profit on him, or if Chelsea want to have a good player in their squad. And it's just obviously, you need to sort of think about the future in terms of money. If nobody knows where football will be in the next few years, where some clubs may be in the next few years, Chelsea might be the best team in the world in a couple of years' time. You don't know that, because obviously they've got a lot of players that have a bit of potential in them, like Billy Gilmore, like Christian Pulisic. Kepa's young, obviously he's not doing the greatest at the moment, but Kepa's quite young. He could be quite a good goalkeeper in a few years' time. So they've got a good potential on them. They could be the best team in the world in a few years' time, and obviously with Declan Rice in the team, it could be even better. So
done with the talking about money. We're going back to the Barca downfall with Messi. He's carrying the attack like Eden Hazard did for Chelsea in the last 2 seasons since Diego Costa left, because Costa was a player for Chelsea that now we don't have that style of player yet. Tammy and Giroud, they can score, but Costa was another level above them.
Yeah, obviously.
And Eden Hazard, Eden.
Sorry, I got.
No. Eden Hazard got something that Pulisic is good, but Eden Hazard got something other.
Yeah, to be fair, Eden Hazard playing at Chelsea was possibly one of the greatest in the Premier League. I think that's a very big argument to make, because obviously he didn't really spend that much time there compared to some people did. But Eden Hazard's, in terms of skill, in terms of goal scoring ability, in terms of leading in terms of skill at Chelsea to premierships and obviously loads of different other trophies. He was probably one of the greatest in the Premier League in recent years. And in terms of Giroud and Tammy, obviously they're good players. Giroud's getting near the end of his career. Tammy's kind of just starting, but they're both very aware of the football pitch. They can play football. They can score goals. But when you say Douglas Costa, I don't think people recognise how good he was for Chelsea, because he's just obviously from when he went to Atletico Madrid, Chelsea really didn't have a striker. So I think it does make a difference, and signing some people will help them massively.
Yeah. I don't think I have much more to say with the Barca. Do you?
No, I'm good.
Should you go about the Messi transfers right now that's around the world?
Yeah, because obviously with the Barca downfall, they've lost a lot of players. And now recently, Messi has come out and said he doesn't want to play for Barcelona anymore, which is a shock to the football world. So there's videos of in Barcelona of fans literally breaking into the stadium and in protest to try and say to the chairman that we still want Messi, and Messi is Barcelona's Messi and Messi's Barcelona in some ways. So it is a bit of a shock, but I think eventually the chairman will have to say, okay, Messi's got to go. He's a legend. You've got to respect legends. So Messi, I think the original leaders were Juventus, but obviously they can't pay the wages on. Obviously they've got Ronaldo in the team as well, which is a lot of wages by himself. So if you've had them together, that's more than like £1 million a week or something, which is a stupid amount of money. But now I think the leaders are Manchester City with Pep Guardiola, his favourite manager. That's been said before. Is obviously with the tiki-taka football at Barcelona, and the Guerreros there as well. They're both best friends in football, both Argentinian, both played for Newell's Old Boys and the Argentinian national team. So I think eventually, if Messi were to go, which I think will happen, he will end up going to Manchester City. And I think in the Premier League, that will be very, very good, because we've never really we had Ronaldo in his early days, but other than that, I don't think we've ever had a true world-class player for a long, long time.
Yeah. And for City, Messi's wages is around 800k. So, Sheikh Mansour needs to step up his money there. And then they need to... Yeah, I think is Messi going on free, because he can go for, if they're going to sell him for money, I think it's around 250-300 million.
I saw recently that there was a clause in his contract that meant at the end of each season he could go on a free, but apparently that stopped. So there's been a massive debate over that between Messi and the chairman. But apparently if he's going to go, then he's got a €700 million release clause on his contract, and I think Barcelona will only want him to go for that. And I don't think anyone will be able to afford that. I think in the end they will have to settle for, like you said, 200-300 million euros. Manchester City have got the money. As much as that's been a debate as well throughout for quite a few years, because of their chairman. They've got the Arab money, obviously. I think it's very if he goes, it will be quite a challenge for Manchester City in terms of football. In terms of money, they might actually end up going bankrupt, because, like you said, the wage is 800k a week, and then also on top of that, 300 million euros. That must take, even if you have a lot of money, that'll take a massive hit on your on your like wealthiness and on your money. So you do need to be careful when you sign players. As much as it is Messi, you do need to watch it.
Yeah, and I got that from my phone right now. One football saying that Paul Pogba have been tested positive for the coronavirus. So yeah, that's quite sad.
Yeah, obviously that's happened to a lot of people now, but you just gotta hope they're fine and hope they can get well soon. To be fair, can't really do much about it now.
Yeah. Do we have anything more to say about Messi?
I don't think so. There's obviously a couple of other clubs in contention. Bayern Munich, I think, have a little bit of interest in him. I think Lewandowski and Messi would be incredible, but
yeah.
I think Messi. I think if he will go, Manchester City will get him.
Yeah, and I think we're going to talk about rumors that aren't like that big. So we have right now. It seems like Luis Suarez can go to Ajax. So can this happen? And if it happens, what do you think about it?
I think it will be quite a weird signing, but obviously Luis Suarez, he's a very good player. He's a very good player. Obviously, he's been at Barcelona and Liverpool. Um, yeah, if he goes to Ajax, it'll be his retirement club. He's nearly 32, 33, so he can't. He probably won't be playing for much longer. He might do stuff at Ajax. Obviously, he'll probably win the Dutch league with Ajax, and he's good. He's a good player still, so it'll be good. It'll be a good signing for Ajax.
Yeah, and I think he's going on free because Barca terminated his contract. So get him on a free, and I think he's going to take down his wages a bit because he wants to. He have
Yeah,
played in Ajax, if I'm right.
yeah. I think
So
he did
yeah,
early days.
yeah, and it's a club that like helped him being better. Like then he go to Liverpool and Barca, so he could go down in his wages to go to them. So yeah.
In all fairness, as well, if Ajax doesn't work out, he could go to Liverpool again and retire there. So
Yeah.
he has got options, to be fair. And when you're that good of a player, you will have options.
Yes, and going to the Serie A, we got Bakayoko is looking like going to AC Milan and Awar to Juventus. Yeah, what do you think?
Bakayoko, I don't understand what happened to Bakayoko, to be completely honest, because he did quite well with Kante in Chelsea, and then he went out on loan, and then people didn't really talk about him. So him going to AC Milan hopefully will revive his career. So yeah, and who was the other person? Sorry.
Awar from Lyon,
Oh yeah, who's he going to?
Juventus.
That's a good sign for Juve because obviously Aouar is a very. I'm fairly sure he's quite young. He's about the same age as Pogba, so I think as much as Juve is a good team, they don't really have a midfield. So Aouar for Juventus is a good sign, and I think they just got McKennie as well on loan, haven't they? So
Yeah,
yeah, those two in the midfield, I think would be quite good for them.
yeah, and Awar is just 22 years old, so this is a good signing for them.
Yeah, to be fair, he's got a lot of years left on his contract. In him, and he could be like up until the age of 32 at Juve and become a club legend there. So I think that'd be good for Juventus.
Yes, the next Pogba in Juventus for me if he signs. And
Yeah, to be fair,
Bakayoko.
go on.
Okay, Bakayoko is he's going to go on loan to AC Milan with an option to buy around, I think, for 35 mil, 45, something around
That's quite
40.
good. That's quite good for AC Milan because obviously again, I don't think they have a. I don't really know what players they have to be completely honest. Because in the past they had the best team in the world really in
Yes,
Hullet and Bergkamp. Not Bergkamp. I think it was Van Basten. I'm not quite sure, but they had Hullet, and I know that much. But yeah, they had one of the best teams in the world, and I think as much as Bakayoko doesn't really compete with Hullet, it's a start, and get signing players like that will attract more players. So yeah, it's a rebuild I think for AC Milan, and if they get him, it'll be a good start.
yeah, and I think he gets to compete with Bonaventura, Kessie, and I think his name is like Benacer,
Oh yeah,
something like that. And Kessie and Benacer, I say that now. They have been very good together. So if he goes there, he's like a player like Kessie. So I would personally like to see him at AC Milan. Yeah, he goes from Chelsea, but he haven't done that much in Chelsea. Just have a song about him and Conte, so
Yeah.
not that much in Chelsea.
Yeah, to be fair, when you mentioned Kessie and Benatica is. I'm not sure if he's on loan or something because I know he used to play for Juve, so I think he might be on loan. But Kessie is a fantastic player in terms of an all-rounder, so he will have competition there, and hopefully that'll make him a better player. Because when you have competition for your spot, it makes you want to play better and train better, and eventually you'll be a better player.
Yeah, and Benacer. It's look. I'm at his Wikipedia right now. It seems like he's been playing Empoli. I think Benacer or something. They have a same name in Juve, and yeah, I don't have anything more to say about Benacer and Kessie and Bakayoko. with our, that will be a great Serie, like the midfield Serie will going to be absolutely great. With
Yeah,
Milan,
absolutely.
our, no, I mean Juventus, our, and who do they have more? Maturidis to Miami.
Yeah, obviously Matuidi's left. Rabiot at Juve, I think he's still there.
Ramsey too.
Yeah, they've always been quite a defensive league on as much as I've been concerned. Obviously, Juve have still got Chiellini, Bonucci. They had Barzagli, I think it was, and they were the best team in terms of defence. I think they were rumoured with Van Dijk at one point, but I think that's just gone out the window. But
Yeah.
obviously, they've always been a defensive league, so if they can bring in a couple of midfielders, that would really spice up the league again, I think.
Yes, and now when we talk about Serie A, we're going back to the Prem, or not back, but yeah. Douglas Costa to Man U, as the news saying. Can this be a good signing for Man U?
Who's that? Sorry, your mic went out a bit.
Douglas Costa from Juventus.
Oh yeah, I think I'm not sure how old Douglas Costa is. Because I think he's quite not old, but I think he's near 30.
He's 29.
But 29, yeah. So that's technically a prime in his career. He's doing well at Juventus, so to go to Manchester United will be a bit questionable for Douglas Costa and himself. But for Manchester United, I think that'll be a good signing. But I don't see why they might need them, because if they're getting Sancho, they'll have Martial, Rashford, and Sancho, and then having Douglas Costa, I think he might just turn into a bench player. So unless he gets played in cam or like the midfield, so I don't know with Douglas Costa. It's a good signing for any club, but whether he plays or not is another question.
Yeah, and I also think so. And Leeds that just got promoted and did just sign Rodrigo from Valencia, as we talked about in the last episode. And
Yeah.
now they have been linked with Michy Batshuayi from Chelsea. Chelsea want around 25 mil for him. So can this be a good signing for them?
I mean, obviously, as much as Batshuayi hasn't done much at Chelsea, he's had some fantastic loan spells. I know a couple of years ago he went to Borussia Dortmund and he was one of the best in the league. So I think, again, Leeds are trying to make a big statement coming up into the Premier League. And signing Rodrigo and Batshuayi are some good signings for a newly promoted team. So, again, like I said last time, they're trying to make a statement for the Premier League, and I think they're doing a good job of it.
I think if they sign Batshuayi and just upgrade, I think Ben White is leaving to Brighton, as I have been heard. So if
Yep.
they just sign a centre back, loan in Fikayo tomorrow, that team will go to the 10th place or maybe even a Europa League.
Yeah, to be fair, I think they could do what Sheffield United and Wolves have done in their first seasons, make a pretty big impact. Obviously, in their club's past, they've won the Premier League and they've won quite a few different trophies because they have been a fantastic club, and I think it looks like they're looking to go back to that. So honestly, if they do the right thing and play the right way, I think they can get a Europa League spot straight away. But yeah, I think we're done here. Thank you guys for listening to episode 2 of the Footy Fans. Make sure you subscribe and like the video, and I think we'll be back with another episode shortly.